Welcome to Two Errors, One Mindset. This is the place for younger adults and parents who are ready to build a better life, starting with their thoughts.
I'm Solomon. I'm right here in the mess of it, trying to figure things out just like you. I'll share what's working now.
And I'm Michael. My job is simple: to coach you through the biggest challenges using the mental tools that actually matter.
Every week, we blend my real-world perspective with my dad's professional coaching wisdom, giving you the playbook for confidence and control.
No hype, just clear steps. Let's roll. Today's show, what we're going to talk about is failure. And how do you define failure? Is it such a bad thing to acknowledge failure and talk about your failures? And is failure really a bad thing? So let's jump right in. And Solomon, what do you think about failure? How would you define failure?
Well, first of all, I don't think it's a bad thing at all. I don't think it should
Why
be
is that? I agree
associated-
with you.
Because you can always try again. It's as simple as that
Yeah. So you don't fail until what?
until you stop trying.
Exactly. So if you give up, then that could be considered a failure. If you just stop because you didn't get the result that you wanted, and maybe you're feeling embarrassed or you're feeling upset, and then you just quit, what would you define that as?
Well, what actually is failure versus what people think failure is they're so different. It's so different.
It's a great point. Can you think of a time in your life where maybe you would have seen something as a failure, something that happened?
When I don't do well in school on a test, just anything in life that you feel like you didn't do as good as you should have at, but in
Yeah. How
reality,
about
you
in
could just
sports?
try
You ever
again.
have
You lose a game, you don't play well, you know, all these different things. You have the next game to play better.
from that event that you had that didn't go the way you wanted to? What do you take from that, and how do you use it to your advantage?
You learn what to do better. You can learn from your mistakes that you made if you didn't necessarily get the result that you wanted, and you can reflect on it in many different ways.
So you can take what happened, you learn from it, you grow from it, you use it to help yourself as you move forward so that you don't have the same result that you didn't like. You just get better and better. That is how you get better, is by doing and maybe not getting the result and doing again and then maybe not getting the result. But ultimately, you'll get the result if you keep moving in the path that you want to go on.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this? An event happens, we don't like it. Is it possible that it's actually life unfolding perfectly for us to teach us, to let us learn and grow?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If everything's going perfect for you, you're not really living. Not really living.
It's interesting because even if someone says it's not going perfect because it didn't go the way they wanted to, maybe it is perfect. In other words, maybe that thing's happening for a reason or a purpose so that they're going to learn or grow. What are your thoughts?
I completely agree.
So
I
there really
completely
is no
agree.
failure. There's life unfolding, and we have certain expectations of a result that we may want to have. And either we meet that expectation or we don't, but that doesn't mean that we failed, does it?
No.
No. Okay, good. So what if we continue this path thinking that everything's actually working out for me exactly as it should? So if you do something, you don't get the result, what do you say to yourself?
Say that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be. I'll try again.
I was thinking of like 3 failures that I've had in my life that could be deemed a failure. So one of them was when I went through a divorce. There's a lot of people that say when you go through a divorce, you failed. You didn't do it right. You failed.
Right.
But, if we go back to the thing that we were talking about, which is everything's working out perfectly,
Mm-hmm.
that event led me to looking inside myself, working on me, getting stronger, finding more love for myself, finding more kindness for myself, and becoming strong within my own shoes. But had I not gone through that divorce, what would have happened?
You wouldn't have, looked inside at all those things that you just mentioned.
There it is again. Life is happening for me. The events that are occurring, if we can look at it from that perspective, then we can never really get upset. It may not be what we want, but we can look at it and say, wait, there's something in here for me. There is some kind of growth or message or learning that I can take and apply in my life.
Yeah.
How about you? If we really think about a specific time in your life, can you think of something that you would have considered at the time a failure?
But yeah, I was a sophomore in high school. I tried out for soccer. I didn't make it. I didn't make it. And I was really down, really, really down myself for months, really. But then I think it was in the winter, we got a call from coach of a team said, "Hey, I hear he didn't make the team, but we have a spot for him for on a club team." And that was the most fun I've ever had playing in my whole life. So if it wasn't for what happened earlier in August, that would have never happened, and I wouldn't have had those great few months.
That's a great example, because in the moment when your friends got on the team and you didn't, what started going on in your head?
And I don't even want to repeat it, but it was not good. It was not good. I'm thinking, why can this guy be there and I can't? Why do they get to do it and I can't? And, it sucked
Yeah, you're beating yourself up. You're looking at all the negatives. Why did this happen? Because our expectation or your expectation was what?
to get on the team.
Yeah, and that was the way that it should be. It should be that I should be on the team.
Yeah.
But if life is happening for you and it's unfolding perfectly, look where it led you. It led you to this path of being on a team where you're having so much fun, and it was a lot of fun. Why
Yeah.
isn't it a good thing besides that? Why is it a good thing that you weren't on that soccer team?
Well, I think I learned to, experience what it's like to not get everything to go my way. Because, you're 14 years old at that time. Most things have gone your way up until then. So that was like the first time I really experienced something like that. And it's good. I always look back on it. Whenever I struggle with anything, that's the first thing I look back.
Yeah, and why is it so good that you didn't get what you wanted?
Because in reality, I did get what I wanted later on.
Isn't that interesting? See, you just flipped it, and that's a great flip. I remember my dad telling this to me a long time ago, like life's unfolding perfectly. No matter where you go, that's exactly where you're meant to be. And at the time, I didn't really understand that. I'm like, yeah, dad, whatever.
I think
But
you
he was
told me the
on,
same thing.
and
That
then they end up telling you the same thing. Because it is really the case. As you get older and as you experience more and more in your life, this is the truth. And so the younger you are and the younger you can get that lesson, how's that an advantage for you?
you kind of get it before most other people do,
Yeah.
and
And so
you
that you
become
can,
experienced.
and your life will feel like what as you move forward, as opposed to beating yourself up if it doesn't go the way that you want it to go.
It'll feel easier and less stress and a kind of a smoother road.
Yeah. And no matter what happens, will you still end up where you need to be?
Yeah, always.
Yeah. It's like, I was thinking, like, you started off thinking you were going to be in business in college. And then what happened?
I took a microeconomics class and I couldn't stand it. And I heard I needed to take 7 more of those. So I switched. That's the true story.
It's a true story. It's a true story. But how could you have looked at that situation if you were going to beat yourself up?
Could have said, "Oh my God, well, I'm never going to finish college. I'm never going to get a job. I don't know how to use numbers like this. What am I going to do?" But,
And
that's
instead,
just
what ended up
BS.
happening?
I switched my major and thrilled.
And you're thrilled. This is the thing. It's like, one of the things that I've learned in all these years, in my 54 years, that's a
Yeah,
long
because you're
time.
old.
I'm an old man. I'm young. That's like mid-age. At 54 is middle-aged. So,
Okay.
because think about it, with AI technology, we'll probably be able to live to like 180 soon.
Let's see. I put some stuff in AI today and it gave me some pretty bad answers. So I don't know about that.
We'll have bionic arms and legs. Like, there'll be a few real parts of us, but the rest will be AI generated.
Yeah, but at some point, you live so long, you're going to get bored. You're going to be 180 years old. You're going to get bored. Be like, do I really still want to be here? I've done it all.
Thank you for listening to our conversation today. Your support means the world to us.
Honestly, it does. We started this podcast to share what we're learning about mindset, and knowing that it's helping even one person out there makes it worth every minute.
Hey, we'd be so grateful if you consider supporting the show.
You can visit buymeacoffee.com/mindset1 and treat us to a cup of coffee. Think of it as a small, kind gesture that fuels our future episodes.
Now let's jump back into the conversation. It's true. Then you move on and whatever happens next happens. It's a good point.
Yeah.
But again, the whole purpose is that if we can start to really view life as everything's happening perfectly, everything's working out for me, even though it doesn't feel like it is at this time, it makes life a lot easier. I have another example. I remember when I was working in a corporate job. And I had been there for 11 years. And one day I walk into the office and they asked me to come to the conference room. Now, I only know that when you ask someone to come to the conference room, that most likely you're getting laid off from that job, because I had to do it a number of times with a number of people that had worked on my team.
You did it to people and then they did it to you.
And it's what goes around comes around. It
That's
happens.
great.
So I walk in, and after 11 years, by the way, I had wanted to be out of that job for the longest time. I was miserable there.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember.
What do you remember about it?
Well, you'd come home every day. You'd get to see me for barely an hour before I went to bed. You were never in a good mood. I could go on and on.
Yeah, I was in a good mood because I wasn't doing what I like to do. And so, there was that part inside of me that knew, all right, you should get out of this. Like, just get out of the job and leave. But I didn't, because it was comfortable. I was making a good paycheck, had time off. My schedule was pretty good. So I just stayed with it until one day I walked in the office and found out that I was laid off. You know what I said to the human resources person that day when he laid me off? He was one of my friends.
What'd you say?
I thanked him. I said, thank you. I said, please don't feel upset, because I could tell he was feeling upset because he was a friend of mine. I said, this is perfect. I needed to be out of here. I needed to be out of here. But most people could have seen that event as a failure. Oh my God, he
Yeah.
worked there 11 years and now they let him go. And
What'd he do? What'd he do wrong?
what did he do? And instead, I rolled with the punches. I said, this is perfect. I needed to do this. And when I walked out those doors that day, I felt totally relieved, because finally I was out of there. And it led to me doing what I do now, which is something that I really love. So that's what I'm saying. Does that make sense? You seeing how
Yeah.
it works?
Yeah.
Imagine learning this at a very young age. How would that benefit you? I mean, young age, I mean, younger than you are. So if you learn this when you're really young, that it doesn't matter if you get a big grade, you're going to learn, you're going to grow, you're going to get better, and everything's working out to help you grow.
Well, if a young kid knows that, they're going to become unstoppable, like really, truly unstoppable at
Why does
whatever
that
they
make them
do.
unstoppable? I agree with you.
Because they're never going to really back down and they're never going to get held back from anything.
Yeah, you don't give up. You
Yeah.
don't see things as bad. You see them as, this is the next step in my journey.
It's a bump.
Yeah, it's a bump, and it's actually a bump that's leading me to the next best place. I've spoken to so many of the clients that I work with, and they've all had these events, these negative events, failures that we would call them, most people. And every time I ask them, why is it good that that happened to you? What do you think they tell me?
It got me to a better place.
Got me to a much better place in my life. Why should someone remove the word failure from their vocabulary?
Because in reality, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist unless you make it exist. It's up to you. So if you remove it, it's not going to exist.
And how did we come up with the definition for failure? Like, where did that?
Well,
Where does-
everything we've heard, everything that we see on TV, you get an F on a test and it stands for failure. I think that's BS.
It's just you weren't prepared that day. That's all. I wasn't prepared.
That's how they kind of program you.
You're right. The reason we have a definition of failure the way that we do, and everyone has a different one. Some people don't see failure. They don't see it. They're like, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm getting better, period, the end. And there's other people that if they fail, the world is over. And you'll hear them talk about it for the next 6 years of their life. Where did they get that definition? It's exactly what you said. They got it from out there somewhere. Someone told them, someone said something to them. Maybe they had a parent that was really against failing and they were so hard on them, and that became their definition of failure. But was
Right.
it them who came up with that failure definition? No. Why is this so important to understand?
Because it can really understanding this can get you where you wanna be in life.
And will it be painful or pleasurable along the way?
Pretty pleasurable. Maybe a little bit of pain, but that's normal.
Yeah, and you know, there's gonna be emotions that are involved, but if you then can quickly flip the script and say, "Hey, just like all those other things that have happened in my life, this is unfolding the way it's meant to be, and it's gonna lead me to the next best place." If you have that attitude, what are the chances that it's gonna lead you to a good place?
Very good chances.
Very good chances.
Almost perfect chances.
Let me ask you this question. On social media, when you're looking at posts from friends, from family members, do you ever see anything that remotely represents failure being posted by anyone?
Never. Never.
Why?
Because why would someone wanna post that about themselves for
Because they
everyone to
define it
see?
right. No, well, that's a good point because they're defining it in such a negative way. Why would you ever want to talk about it? But what if
Yeah.
you grew up learning this? Hey, it's okay to talk about failure because if you learn something from it, if you grow from it, not only are you learning, but you could teach other people by sharing that so that they get to see that there can be really good things that come out of failure.
Yeah, you'd see it a lot more. You'd see a lot more people, a lot more athletes posting after losses and this and that. And I think they should. You're learning so much from that and you're teaching other people even more.
Authenticity. It's being real. It's what we need more of in this world is authenticity. There people are afraid. I know I was. I was terrified to be authentic and real. What would people think of me? What would they say? It doesn't matter. I got to be me. If I'm not being myself, then who am I being?
What's the point of being here if you're not going to be yourself?
Yeah, I might as well put on a mask and pretend I'm someone else.
Yeah,
What good would that be? If
it
God
only does good
creates
for other people.
That's right. If God creates each of us with this special thing that's built within us, shouldn't that be who we should show up as?
Always,
Always.
always.
And of all the people that you know and that you see online, how many people are actually showing up that way?
Well, you have some people who absolutely do not show up that way and they show up as a completely different person as they really are. And you have some people who know and who understand and who show up exactly how they should. And I think that's great. Those are the people I want to interact with.
Yeah, the people that are authentic and say, imagine you're sitting in a group with a group of guys, and one of the guys says, "Man, I just screwed up. Like, I got this terrible grade on my test, or I lost this amount of money, or I got into this car accident and it was my fault." Don't you get like a level of respect for them for sharing something that's personal with you?
Yeah.
Why do you
Yeah.
think that is though?
So they can man up and they can admit when they did something that wasn't perfect.
Yeah. And have you to this day met anyone that's perfect?
No.
And don't you feel closer to people when they actually tell you the truth?
Yes.
You can trust them.
Yes, you can.
You're not you can have a real authentic down to earth conversation. You feel like you can trust them, and that's how we could show up in life. Why do you think we're taking time to discuss this topic so that other people are hearing it as well?
Well, because, you don't get this from many other places. You don't
Yeah,
get
what
the discussion of failure and the discussion of authenticity from many other places. It's hard to find.
you're right. You know, it's unfortunate, but in the workforce, in school, even in families, and it's no one's fault. No one was really taught this information, or not too many people.
Right.
And that's why we all walk around dancing on eggshells, worried that we're going to break the egg. And oh my God, someone's going to see that I'm not perfect.
Hmm.
How many people do you think on their pictures, I'm guilty, have tweaked them in a filter so that it looks better than it really was?
Yeah. All the time. All the time. Sometimes you want to adjust the lighting, make it look a little better. That's fine. But if you're changing all this stuff about you, then, I mean, come on.
Yeah. Look, there's a wrinkle on my face. Let me just remove that wrinkle from the picture.
I've seen you do that. No, I'm just
Yeah, I
kidding.
have done it. I've done it, and the only reason I'm doing it is because I want to appear to look better, but that's inauthentic. That's not
Yeah.
real.
And at the end of the day, if people really give a damn about a wrinkle on your face, those aren't the people that you want to be associating yourself.
Yeah, and even more importantly, if I care about that wrinkle so much that I'm putting it through a filter. I really need to look inside and say, why is that bothering me so much? And why am
Right.
I doing that? What does it matter?
Yeah. Who cares? I
Who
don't
can,
care. Yeah.
no,
Who cares?
but that's the key is looking inside and saying, why am I doing these things? And if we, and that's how you learn. That's how you grow. That's how you get stronger and better is owning up to the things that you're doing, posting a picture with a wrinkle free face
Yeah.
because it looks better. Right. There's a whole bunch of people that are listening right now and they're shaking their head. Oh, I have an
I'm
app.
guilty.
I have an app that does it. I was thinking to myself, wouldn't it be amazing if there was a social media site and the only thing you could do is talk about how you failed at something and what you learned from it and how it's made you a better person? I feel like wouldn't you read all those posts?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Why?
would.
It's real.
Because, yeah, it's real and you're going to learn something from that too, just from reading other people's experiences.
I think for anyone that's listening, including me, including you, that's something we can post. That's something we can share. That's something that's really going to make a difference. Not the picture of the new car or the new house. Like those are cool and it's fine to celebrate it. But what's really going to help make a difference in other people's lives is the authenticity of being who you are and sharing from that place. And man, it
Yeah.
took me a long time to learn that lesson.
Be you. If if your passion is that car or that house, if you really love that, go for it. But if you couldn't care less and you see the next guy doing it and that's why you do it, come on. Give me a break.
That's a great point. What you're saying is like, where is the post coming from? Is it coming from a love or is it coming from, I want to show them that I also have that thing? And there's a
Yeah.
big difference between the two. Big difference. So maybe you can start working on that social media site.
Yeah, yeah. I can barely use this one website that I have to use for class. You want me to make social media?
You can find someone that's good at programming and they'll program. Actually, now
You.
with me, well, they have. I was just on it. I think it's called lovable.ai. You can literally tell it, build me a website that does this, that, or build me an app, and then it builds it like instantly. And then, and we're not. This isn't a sponsor, by the way. But after that, then, like, when it builds it, you don't like something, you just type in, "Oh, I don't like this, change that," and then it just does it. So
Yeah.
you really don't need to know how to program, these days because the AI has you covered.
Well, yeah.
What do you think about AI?
About AI? Talk about failure. How many times do you think it took them to perfect AI? They probably spent years and years trying and trying again and not getting it right, but they didn't stop. And now we have ChatGPT and Gemini and all the crazy ones that you use, because I know you use way more advanced ones than that nowadays. But
It's
I
true.
think it's very cool. It helps me a lot as a student.
Yeah, it's like anything. It could be used to harm someone or it can be used to help. And I think
Yeah.
as we're using it to help, which is the way I use it. I was just telling someone the other day, I have a client and they had a financial statement from a company. It came. Now, if you try to read that statement yourself, like if you try to read the 20 pages, what do you think happens?
It's like reading a different language from.
It's like reading Russian, and I don't speak Russian, but I can take that and I can say to AI, summarize this, make it unbelievably easy to understand. This is for my client who's also a friend. And it writes it in a tone, but summarizes it in such a beautiful way that it actually now makes sense. So
Yeah.
that's how we can use these tools to help other people because they're tools. And failure is a tool.
Yes, it
Failure is
is.
a tool. It's there to teach us, it's there to help us, it's there to make us more real, more authentic. What are your thoughts on all this?
On all this, AI is awesome. Failure isn't real. And be you, be yourself.
Be yourself. And if you find yourself not being yourself, you find yourself getting into that mode of protecting yourself and putting on that mask, what do you do then?
Take a second, think, and realize that that mask is not going to get you very far.
Yes. And if I take off the mask and I expose who I truly am, I'm actually going to connect to way more people.
Way
But
more.
most importantly, I'm going to connect to myself
That's
because
right.
one of my favorite quotes I've ever heard. It's, if I want to be free, I got to be me. Not the me I think you think I should be, not the me I think my parents think I should be, not the me I think my spouse thinks I should be. If I want to be free, I got to be me. And I take that to heart. What do you think about that?
I think that's great. It's a pretty good rhyme too. Sound like a rapper.
I mean, listen, I've been known to rap, but I used to
Uh-huh.
break dance.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think about the breakdancing days?
I think you have to be pretty authentic and be true to yourself to do that because sometimes it looks a little ridiculous.
We used to think we were so cool doing it. We performed at this place. It used to be a movie theater, and then they called it the Silver Palace. And on the weekends, on Friday and Saturday, they would have break dancing, like where you would come in the group and then you would bring in your family and friends, and then they would all
God.
watch you break dance.
Ay.
We performed there when we were younger, but we had a great time, man. At my bar mitzvah, what did we do?
I've seen the pictures. You like change out of your suits
We
and
changed out of
put
our suits. We put on the windbreakers.
yeah.
Back in the day, you would wear that to break dance. And we brought cardboard and we put it on the floor because that's what you would break dance on, either linoleum floor or cardboard. So we got this huge box of cardboard and we laid it out, and that's what we did. It was crazy.
God.
Those were the days. Yeah. All right. Well, I think on that note, it might be time to call it to an end. But what would your message be for everyone out there about failure?
Keep going. Keep going.
I love that. Just keep going. Don't never give up. Never stop. Never let a result cause you to stop doing the thing that you really want to be doing.
That's right.
Because that's where all the power comes from within, and the strength comes from within. When you just are apologetically yourself, the rest will take care of itself.
Agreed.
And there is no failure. In fact, everyone take that word out of your language. I just didn't get the result I wanted to, and I know it's leading me to a place where I'm going to get something that's going to be really good for me.
Yes.
That's it. Everyone have an amazing week. If this touched you in some way and you can think of someone who maybe struggles with failure, send this episode to them, let them listen to it, and maybe it will make a difference for them.
Yeah. Send it. Share it with anyone. Even if they don't listen, just share it. Even if you don't think they're going to listen, just send it to them anyway.
Amen. Amen. And by the way, I want to do a shout out to Daryl Mapp, who supported our show and bought us a couple cups of coffee. Thank you, Daryl Mapp. We appreciate you, and we appreciate all the support and love.
Always.
Have a great one. That brings us to the end of the conversation today. We truly hope you leave here with a few new tools for your mindset toolbox.
If anything we talked about today, from challenging your beliefs to taking that 1% step, resonated with you, we'd love for you to share it.
Our goal is to bridge the gap between generations. If you know a young adult who's struggling with self-doubt, or a parent who could use a fresh perspective, please share this episode with them.
You never know which simple questions or ideas might change someone's entire week or even their whole outlook.
You can find our episodes wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you again for being a part of our mindset community. We'll see you next time.